So why do you single out 2012?
So 2009 is when Facebook added the like button and Twitter added the retweet button. And before then, social media was not particularly polarizing. People would put up a Friendster page or a MySpace page or a Facebook page with what they liked, and here's who I am, not polarizing at all. And then in 2009, you get the like button and then the retweet button, and then Twitter and Facebook copy each other very quickly. So now both platforms have both like and retweet. Now both platforms have huge amounts of information about engagement, and now they can algorithmicize all the feeds. And so as it's more engaging, this is the 2 or 3 years where, at least adolescents, I have data data from national surveys showing this is the 2 years when adolescents go from mostly not being on these platforms every day to now teen social life is mostly conducted on various platforms.
So do you think are you characterizing that as a positive feedback loop, essentially?
Yes,
the like buttons with the algorithms?
Yes, exactly. It's a feedback loop, and it's also the most powerful, not Pavlovian, it's just behaviorist conditioning mechanism ever. Thank you. Thanks, Steve. Operant, yes. Yeah. I haven't taught Psych 101 in 10 years. But, if you think about it, many people have seen that video of B.F. Skinner training a pigeon to turn in a circle by just reinforcing slightly more counterclockwise behaviors in the video. And if you think about it, as soon as someone gets on social media and they post something, now people are giving them little reinforcements. And it's within seconds. I mean, you post something and then sometimes you check within a minute, what did people think about it? And so we have, so this is why, these are ideas that I developed with Tobias Rose Stockwell. We had an article in The Atlantic on why why democracy is going haywire or something like that.
The positive feedback loop idea is really interesting too, because a lot of psychopathologies are positive feedback loops. So if you get depressed and you start isolating yourself because you're depressed, you get more depressed. If you drink alcohol and go into withdrawal and then drink to cure that, you become alcoholic. If you are agoraphobic and you avoid, you get more afraid. Like a lot of psychopathological processes are positive feedback loops. And so the combination of the algorithm with the we don't know what these technologies are doing to us. We don't have a clue. We have no sense whatsoever. Well, we have some clues,
and it's pretty much all bad. So yes, we get that feedback loop that now you can have the echo chambers and bubbles. If you're prone to extremist politics on either side, because based on what you like or what YouTube videos you watch, that sucks you down into more extreme ones and into a community. So the algorithms are doing two things. They're picking our friends because they say you should meet this person because people meet him. So the algorithms are making our friends different from what they used to be. And the algorithms are making what we watch and consume different. And in some ways that's good because it's things that we enjoy. But one of the problems for a liberal democracy, as the founding fathers knew, is factionalism. People become so focused on defeating the other side, they lose sight, they lose concern for the common good.
Well, you might also think that it would be necessary, like if you go to public school, you go to school with 30 people who are basically randomly selected from the population. And so then you have to
maybe in Canada,
modify.
Okay.
Well, in Canada, you have to modify your behavior to take into account a broad range of people, and you didn't pick them. Whereas online, if you're starting to only aggregate with people who think the way that your interest indicates you think, then is it possible that you start to lose touch cognitively with the broader culture and you don't even know what it is anymore?
Yes.
And
that's right. And that's why I'm particularly concerned about Gen Z, because the mental health data shows that their mental health plummeted beginning around 2012, whereas the millennials, they didn't get social media until they were in college or after college. And I think that if you're exposed to a broad range of ideas and books and people, you have a chance to get your mind broadened when you're young. But if you think about the river of inputs coming into people's eyes and ears, when we were all growing up, we watched way too much television, but television was made by older people. It was made by people who were not children. And so we at least, from watching Bugs Bunny, you're at least exposed to opera and you're exposed to certain cultural themes and you even have a sense of the 1940s, let's say. But once everyone got onto social media all the time, now the river of inputs, so much of it was created in the last week or two by people your age. And so there's just not much room for people in this post-war, in the after times, let's say, after the social media world, there's not much room for kids to learn anything about the 20th century or communism or Nazism or great literature. So much input is jammed up with trivia, ephemera, and to the extent that there's political content, it's not broadening your mind, it's turning you into the kind of factionalist that the founding fathers feared. So that's my most pessimistic take. That yes, Steve,